Hello everyone, and welcome back once again to Let's Play Alan Wake with FrozenFoxy. This time I'm going to be making some really quick cuts here, mainly because what I'm doing right now is playing in Nightmare mode. I'm not going to show you everything of Nightmare mode, because it would probably take forever. It would be another full playthrough and all that kind of stuff, but what I am going to do is show all of the Nightmare manuscripts off. There are 15 of them, and we'll start with the first one in just a moment. So we're still in episode 1 here, and this is where the first log yard is, with this tree smashing this fence. But this right here was not here before. This is a Nightmare manuscript page, and we'll go ahead and pick it up and find out what it is. Apparently Rose is a fan.
Barry took another sip of the heavenly coffee. He grinned at Rose. Surely this was love. Rose gushed on breathlessly. The new one will be a masterpiece, I know it. You must tell him not to listen to the trolls in the forums saying Departure will never get finished. He should take his time and make it perfect. I can wait.
Alright, so there's the first of the manuscript pages. We'll see what the next one is. So we're still in episode 1 currently, and this is going to be where you're trying to cross this river on logs and other various things. The log that I made a comment about that looked a little bit like a bird foot, but when you get to the end of this area, you're actually going to find another Nightmare manuscript page, and it's pretty much right on your path, so missing this one is pretty hard to do. Pretty easy to find that one. So we've got the Dark Presence wakes up.
For a long time, the Dark Presence had been weak, sleeping. Nothing but a half-forgotten nightmare or a shadowy flicker in the corner of an eye in the forest at night. Not real enough to properly exist, and yet too evocative to fade away completely. Now it was waking up. The rider like a fly caught in a spider's web, each jerk and kick vibrating the strands that led deep into its lair. It was aware of him now, and it could use him. All he'd need was a little incentive.
Alright, that was the second Nightmare manuscript, and we'll head on towards the third. Alright, so we are at the end of episode 1 right here with the gas station, Stucky's gas station, that you'll probably remember. And we're going to go to an area that we never actually went to in the original playthrough, which is just behind the gas station. There's actually bathrooms here, and the third Nightmare manuscript is also here. Let's go ahead and check out what that is. Toby the dog.
Toby knew the smell. It was the man, the nice man who always gave him treats and never got tired of playing with him. Toby wagged his tail in excited anticipation and gave a joyous bark. Then there was another smell, a wrong smell, and it was alien enough to stop Toby in his tracks. Confused, he growled deep in his throat. The wrong smell came from the nice man. Blind animal terror pierced the dog's brain an instant before the axe followed suit.
Poor Toby. And thus we learn the story of what happens to dogs, and probably what happens to Max later on in this game. But anyway, that is the 3 Nightmare pages for episode 1. The next Nightmare pages that we'll be looking at will be in episode 2. I'll see you then. Hey everyone, we are now in episode 2, just at the very end of it actually, when there's a whole bunch of birds flying around where Barry's up at the cabin. He's just around the corner. Not very far up there, and on your path you'll actually find the next Nightmare manuscript page, and this is actually the only Nightmare manuscript that is in the entire chapter 2 or episode 2, whatever you want to call it. Let's go ahead and check out Wake at the Dark Presence's Mercy.
The Dark Presence had touched the girl to lure the rider into a trap. Now it was night, and he lay helpless, drugged, lit only by the flickering of the TV screen filled with static. Shadows coalesced in the room as the Dark Presence leaned close to the rider, ready to touch him again. Back to work, boy.
Alright, learning a little bit about what the Dark Presence was doing there. Sounds like possibly when Rose was luring us, more or less. But next stuff is going to be in episode 3, because there is no more Nightmare Manuscript pages in episode 2, just that one. So I'll see you all then. Okay, so we're in episode 3, and we've just passed the area where there's a whole bunch of poltergeists on this area under the railroad tracks. As soon as you get past there, if you head up here, you'll have like a wheelbarrow and other things flying at you that you have to get rid of. But if you head up here after you're done dealing with those, you can find this nice little manuscript page sitting on this stump here, and that is the first of the nightmare things in episode 3. So we've got Wake and Night Springs.
Even after all this time, hearing the Night Springs theme caused a surge of conflicting emotions in me. It'd been my first real writing gig. Barry had known a guy who knew a guy, and suddenly I'd been a semi-regular writer on the show. I'd always been ashamed of the job. Felt it was trash. I'd wanted to be an artist, a novelist. I'd been naive back then. It had taken a long time to learn to be proud of the work.
Alright, and with that, we've started to learn that apparently Alan Wake was not a big fan of his own work in Night Springs. Honestly, I thought they were amusing. I'm kind of a Twilight Zone-ish fan, a little bit, so I found it fun. But we will be back when we come across the next Nightmare Manuscript page. Okay, so before we come across the next Nightmare Manuscript page, I thought I would just show this because this might be helpful to some people who are trying to get through on Nightmare mode. Now, a lot of you know this as the part where the bulldozer comes out and tries to kill Alan here, but in a lot of these areas you do not need to fight these guys. It's a lot more advantageous if you just run for wherever you need to go. So, in this case, we need to get all the way across here, if we possibly can, and open this door up. I recommend pulling out a few flares, and that will help you do what you need to do. And then we can just start to open up this gate. I'll just pull out flares once in a while to hopefully help me out. Now this thing, of course, is still going to try and kill me, which makes this not as easy as it could be, but as soon as this gets slightly open, you are ready to go, and just getting to this truck and getting into it will start the next area, and it's as if you didn't have to fight the bulldozer at all. Okay, so you may recall this area from episode 3 where there are wooden graves, a lot of them around here, and there's one of the very fast taken. If you head on by this area over here, and continue on to where you would find the ghost town, and turn left instead of going into the ghost town, which is over that way, you will find the next Nightmare Manuscript page, sitting on this nice little rock over here. Let's go ahead and check out what we've got here. Wake reads a page.
I lifted the page in front of my eyes and read it. In it, I lifted the page in front of my eyes and read it. In it, I lifted the page in front of my eyes and read it. In it, I lifted the page in front of my eyes and read it. In it, I lifted the page in front of my eyes and read it. In it, I lifted the page in front of my eyes and read it.
Now that's just ridiculous. That did not help us to understand anything whatsoever. That's just like that picture of that guy who's holding a picture of the same situation, and then there's just pictures within pictures. And honestly, we already know that that's what's happening. Or at least, I think everyone knows that. Anyways, we'll be back for the next Nightmare Manuscript page in just a bit. Okay, so we've moved a bit on in episode 3, not very much. You can actually still see the graveyard down there, and there will be a car that comes out and tries to smash Alan's face over here. But after you get across this bridge, right after that car, you'll be in the ghost town. And the Nightmare manuscript page is literally just up ahead. It's just before things are going to get crazy in the ghost town. And right here, we have the next Nightmare manuscript page, which is the last one in episode 3. And this is Doc examines Barry and Rose.
Doc sat down heavily. He examined Barry and Rose. Barry was already recovering. Rose was another story. She was conscious, but she was barely present, almost delirious, disturbed, touched in the head, they used to say. It wasn't the first time Doc had seen someone in such a state, but it had been over 30 years. Doc poured himself a stiff drink. He hadn't forgotten a thing.
So apparently, from what this is saying, it seems like the doctor actually knew about this already, from when Thomas Zane was going through the same issues. I find that kind of odd because later on in this game, the doc starts screaming about all the things going crazy later on. It's when we're going through the city with the sheriff. I suppose he's mainly just screaming about the gunshots, and maybe he hasn't seen it up close. But you'd think that he would assume that perhaps something's going on and let someone know. Maybe that's why the whole Night Springs code word comes into play with the sheriff later on in this game as well. Maybe that just makes it more sense. Makes more sense like that. Anyway, that is the last Nightmare page for episode 3. The next Nightmare page that we'll find is going to be in episode 4. I'll see you then. So, here we are in episode 4, and we are sitting in front of where you can get some nice goodies here from the log lady that's left them around. But outside we've got the Anderson Farm stage thing over here for Odin and Tor. But if you can just look back there, you can see the page glowing in the background. However, there is something else that is interesting over here. I'm sure some of you know about this already, and I did not show this in the main playthrough, and I figured I would show this now. There's actually 3 grave markers back here, and if you get close enough to them, then you've got a fight on your hands with skeletons that want to kick your ass. They're not too dangerous because they can't move too far, and you can quite easily defeat them if you're moving around enough. But they're kind of hard to see in the grass area. But once they're gone, the area is pretty clear. I just figured I would show that off because that is the only place, I think, in this entire game that skeletons are ever involved. There's no skeletons anywhere else in this game. Maybe a skull on someone's desk that I've missed at some point, but I've never actually seen a skeleton, not a full skeleton like that. Anyway, let's go ahead and read what is the only Nightmare page in this entire episode, which is Hartman during the missing week.
Hartman had never felt as anxious as during the week after Maud had managed to lose the Wakes. Their car stood by the path that had once led to Diver's Isle. Hartman thought about Thomas Zane's cabin in the depths. It was only a matter of time before Wake started writing. They had to be found, and fast. The moment he heard on the police radio that Sheriff Breaker had picked up Wake, he was already in his car driving toward town.
Interesting. So it sounds like Hartman knew what happened with Thomas Zane. I mean, there's actually a spot where when you're shining the light on the wall that says Emil did it, or Emil made Thomas do it, which Emil is Emil Hartman. So perhaps Emil is actually trying to stop it from happening again, or control it to do something that he wants it to do. I have no idea exactly what's going on there, but it's interesting that he is immediately coming after Wake because he knows that this thing is going to get woken up by Wake. Anyway, we'll go ahead and move on to episode 5, where we'll find some more of the Nightmare manuscripts. So at this point in the game, sadly, you do have to fight this thing. I don't even know what they call this. It's like a harvester or something. Goes over fields. But if you're like me, you've probably saved up a few of the flashbangs. And these flashbangs can actually make this battle a lot easier. So I definitely recommend trying to keep those if possible.
Got to be kidding me.
Especially for Nightmare mode. Because this is going to be a very hard battle otherwise. Just make sure that you can toss it when it's close enough that it will actually do some serious damage to this thing. And if you're pretty lucky with it, it will, for the most part, take this thing out and then just use flares on it to take it out the rest of the way, and you should be good. Goes down pretty quick, and the only thing that you'll have to deal with at this point is going to be these guys sitting around here, which aren't so bad. That's how I deal with that battle. Anyway, I will see you all in a bit when we go and check out the next Nightmare manuscript. Alright, so we are in episode 5 here. We have just gotten past where there's a couple of guys that come in between these two electrical wires, and there's this nice little red chair with a manuscript page here. That is not the Nightmare manuscript, that is a regular manuscript page. But if we head down over this way, and just around this side, you'll see this nice bridge here along with the control that will start this bridge turning round and round and round. But over here where there's this nice crashed bus is something different for us today, which is the Nightmare manuscript. We'll go ahead and pick that up and check out what we've got. We have Children of the Elder Gods, Lyrics 1.
Children of the Elder God lyrics by Old Gods of Asgard. The first verse and chorus. Warriors, torchbearers, come redeem our dreams. Shine a light upon this night of otherworldly themes. Odin's might be your guide. Divorce you from the sane. Hammer's way will have its say. Rise up in their name. O memory and thought, jet black and clawed. Children of the Elder God, scourge of light upon the dark.
So we basically get to hear Alan saying the lyrics to the song that we get to dance on stage to while killing things, which is kind of cool. We will be back for the next Nightmare manuscript in just a moment. Okay, and we're back again. This is the location where you first go and meet Cynthia Weaver over here, the log lady. And you'll actually have to go and meet her first because this gate needs to be open over here. You will see this as you're walking up. You can see it right here. It's sitting on the rock. That is the Nightmare page. However, we cannot get that until this is open because you actually have to go all the way around here just to get to it. And you will have some things coming up behind you, which I will just make short work of so that we can get over here quickly and check out this Nightmare page. I'll deal with him later. But this is The Poet and the Muse, lyrics number 4.
The Poet and the Muse, lyrics by Old Gods of Asgard, the chorus. And now to see your love set free, you will need the witch's cabin key. Find the Lady of the Light, gone mad with the night. Find the Lady of the Light, still raving in the night. That's how you reshape destiny.
So this is one that is pretty important to the storyline. And very interesting that they put it in here, because you get to really hear this a whole lot at the end of the Asgard area. So honestly, I think some of this stuff is more for maybe people who didn't have the subtitles on and couldn't hear what was going on for whatever reason. I think it sounds pretty clear, but it is kind of neat that they have this kind of stuff going on in here. Anyway, we have exactly one more missing page for this chapter, and I will be back to show you what that is. So for this part, I definitely recommend clearing out as many birds as you possibly can. This is right before you're getting to the chopper, where Barry and the sheriff, Sheriff Breaker, have crashed over there. And right around here, you're going to be seeing a lot of birds flying for you. And you may have noticed that there was a log that I did not go down during the playthrough. It actually kind of is a shortcut instead of going all the way around, but there's really no reason to go on to this until you're on Nightmare mode, because that is where a Nightmare manuscript will appear. Go ahead and check this out. This is going to be the last Nightmare manuscript for episode 5. The rest of the Nightmare manuscripts are in episode 6. So let's hear the final lyrics of the Children of the Elder God, shall we?
Children of the Elder God lyrics by old gods of Asgard. The second verse and chorus. Scratching hag, you can rake your claws and gnash your crooked teeth. You've taken slaves like ocean waves, now feel the ocean seethe. Father Tor bless the war between the dark and light. In their songs let their wrongs bring disillusion's night. O memory and thought, jet black and clawed, children of the Elder God, scourge of light upon the dark.
It's kind of interesting that he says Father Tor here when this is obviously Thor. The guy's name in this game, of the Odin and Tor group, one of them is spelled T-O-R. So I don't know if they were trying to spell it T-H-O-R in this game and pronounce it Tor for whatever reason instead of Thor, or if it is literally meant to be another word, T-O-R, and Alan's voice actor mispronounced this here. I don't know. I have no idea, but it's kind of interesting that that's in here. Anyways, I will see you all when we move on to episode 6 and find more of the Nightmare manuscript. This glitch is kind of amusing. I just figured I would show this, but yeah, apparently Barry is just like running forever. Okay, he stopped, but I thought that was pretty amusing because he just kept running. Anyway, continuing on. So the first of the Nightmare manuscripts in episode 6 can be found at the Majestic. If you head on into here, it's just sitting here on this nice little couch area for you. Pretty easy to find. And we've got the Poet and the Muse lyrics 1. I'm beginning to think that the rest of these Nightmare manuscripts are just going to be lyrics.
The Poet and the Muse, lyrics by old gods of Asgard. The first verse. There's an old tale wrought with mystery of Tom the poet and his muse, and a magic lake which gave a life to the words the poet used. Now the muse she was his happiness, and he rhymed about her grace, and told her stories of treasures deep beneath the blackened waves, till in the stillness of one dawn, still in its misty crown, the muse she went down to the lake, and in the waves she drowned.
So, from this, we're basically getting to know, if you didn't hear it in the song before, that Tom's wife drowned in the waves, and perhaps is part of why the darkness woke up to begin with, because the darkness is in her, so she went down to the waves where it is, and it got in her to get out. Kind of an interesting thing to think about, but we'll be right back when we go to see the next of the Nightmare manuscripts. Okay, so we're a little bit later in episode 6, and this is where you'll be seeing that monster truck driving around trying to destroy your life. And then you get into this nice, bright, barnish area with this car inside. And when we went upstairs before, there was nothing really here to be found. However, this time around, we actually have a nightmare page. And we'll go ahead and check that out, and it is the Poet and the Muse Lyrics 2. I've only got 2 more of these, we're almost done.
The Poet and the Muse, lyrics by Old Gods of Asgard, the second verse. The poet came down to the lake to call out to his dear. When there was no answer, he was overcome with fear. He searched in vain for his treasure lost, and too soon the night would fall. Only his own echo would wail back at his call. And when he swore to bring back his love by stories he'd create, nightmares shifted in their sleep in the darkness of the lake.
So there we go, having the thing waking up using his wife. Of course, it really required Tom to be writing something before it fully woke up. But more or less, she's kind of what started this whole thing happening. Anyway, we will be back in just a little while to see the next couple of Nightmare manuscripts. So I figured I'd quickly show off this amusing glitch. If you go behind Larson's place and where you would normally find a supply crate, and you keep going behind it and you go all the way to the fence and you go behind this thing, you'll get stuck if you keep trying to go down this way. And do something kind of odd when you try and jump. You'll act like you're falling. I don't know why it does this, but it seems to do this like every time when I try to do this over here. I found this the first time I was playing because I was searching around and had no idea that I was going to find something weird like this. But anyway, random weird Alan Wake glitch. So we're still in Larson's garage area, just before opening the gate with this button here. And there will be a Nightmare manuscript up here on this page. I don't know why Alan decided to switch weapons, but that's cool. And let's go ahead and check out what this Nightmare manuscript is. The Poet and the Muse Lyrics 3. After this, we only have 1 more left.
The Poet and the Muse, lyrics by Old Gods of Asgard, the third verse. In the dead of night she came to him with darkness in her eyes, wearing a mourning gown, sweet words as her disguise. He took her in without a word, for he saw his grave mistake, and vowed them both to silence deep beneath the lake. Now, if it's real or just a dream, one mystery remains, for it is said on moonless nights they may still haunt this place.
Alright, so we have 1 more manuscript page to see here. I'll see you there. So we're at the area where there's a big battle just before we end up seeing the tornado and all that kind of stuff. And we need to get this elevator powered over here. Now, over back where this generator is, there's a small fenced-in area. And you might be able to see that on the back of that fence is a nice little note. And that is our final Nightmare manuscript page. Let's go ahead and check that out. It is Zane's poem.
I'd first heard the poem in a dream, recited by a strange UFO-like light. I'd read it again in the cabin in a book by Thomas Zane. For he did not know that beyond the lake he called home lies a deeper, darker ocean green, where waves are both wilder and more serene. To its ports I've been, to its ports I've been.
And while that didn't make much sense at the beginning of the game, now it makes a little bit of sense, because the lake itself is it's got like some kind of ocean at the bottom that Alan talks about, saying it's not a lake, it's an ocean. And in that ocean is where the darkness comes from. So the ports that he's talking about is, I guess, the ports of darkness. He wrote it into existence. That's how he went there, was he wrote about it. And that's how he got his wife back, but didn't quite get her back. So, interesting note to end on, because now you kind of understand what that's all about. At this point, we found every single one of the notes in the entire game. I hope you've all enjoyed listening to all these notes and learning the story of Alan Wake and all that kind of stuff, because honestly, I really do enjoy this game. I know a lot of times they said that they felt like this story was falling flat and development was taking too long, all that kind of stuff. But really, I think this is a good game, and I'm happy that they still came out with this, even though there was a lot of bad feelings before it came out, from what I've read about this game. And honestly, what they did come up with is really good. I really enjoy this game. I would highly recommend it. And be on the lookout for future Let's Plays. We may go ahead and do the DLCs of this and see where that takes us, and hopefully we'll find out more about the story of Alan Wake later on. Bye for now, everyone.